Welcome back to Checkmate Ninja. Today we're looking at one of the most insane games ever played. This is Mikhail Tal vs Bent Larsen, 1965 candidate semi-final in Bled. And let me tell you right now, this game is pure chaos. Tal is about to sacrifice everything that isn't nailed down to the board, and Larsen, one of the best players in the world at the time, is going to have absolutely no idea what hit him. Let's get into it. Tal starts with pawn to e4, going for the king's pawn opening. Larsen responds with pawn to c5, the Sicilian defense. Already we know this is going to be a fight. Knight to f3, knight to c6. Pawn to d4, pawn takes on d4. Knight takes d4, standard Sicilian stuff. Pawn to e6, Larsen is heading for the Scheveningen or Taimanov structure. Knight to c3, pawn to d6. Bishop to e3, knight to f6. Pawn to f4, and here's where things get spicy. Tal is playing the aggressive f4 line, putting pressure on the center and preparing a kingside storm. Bishop to e7, queen to f3, the queen comes to f3, eyeing the a8, h1 diagonal and supporting the f4 pawn. Castles kingside, Larsen castles kingside. Bold choice when Tal is staring at your king like it owes him money. Castles queenside, there it is. Opposite side castling. This means one thing, friends, whoever attacks faster wins. This is going to be a street fight. Queen to c7, pawn to g4, and Tal launches g-pawn. He doesn't care about development, he doesn't care about safety, he wants Larsen's king dead. This is the signature Tal move, organized chaos. Knight takes d4, Larsen trades off the knight on d4, which makes sense. Get rid of white's centralized pieces. Bishop takes d4, pawn to e5, Larsen strikes in the center with e5, kicking the bishop and gaining space. Pawn takes e5, pawn recapture. Queen to g3, Tal's queen swings to g3, and now it's staring directly at the pawn in front of black's king. The threats are piling up. Bishop to d6, Larsen develops the bishop with tempo, attacking the queen. Knight to b5, brutal. Tal attacks the bishop on d6 and eyes the weak c7 square. And here's the beauty, if the pawn takes the bishop, Tal takes the queen with his queen. Larsen has to be careful. Pawn takes d4, Larsen grabs a bishop and opens things up, but he's walking into the line of fire. Queen takes d6. Wait, what? Tal just takes the bishop with his queen. He's trading queens when he has an attack brewing? This looks insane, but watch what happens next. Queen takes d6, knight takes d6, and now the knight lands on d6, a monster outpost in the heart of black's position. But here's the kicker. Bishop takes g4, Larsen grabs the g4 pawn with the bishop, and he's actually up material now. Most players would panic here. But Tal? Tal planned this. He's not playing for material, he's playing for domination. Rook to d2, Tal doubles on the d-file. The pressure is mounting. Bishop to f3, Larsen's bishop retreats to f3, staying active. Rook to g1, Tal brings the rook to g1, and suddenly black's king is looking very uncomfortable. Knight takes e4. Larsen grabs another pawn. He's 2 pawns up now. But friends, he's about to learn a harsh lesson, material doesn't matter if your king is getting mated. Rook takes d4, Tal takes on d4 with the rook, and now his threatening knight takes e4. Knight takes d6, rook takes d6, and the rook lands on the 6th rank. This is a monster position. The rook is cutting off the king, controlling key squares, and black has no counterplay. Rook to d8, Larsen tries to challenge the rook. Rook takes d8, rook takes d8, the rooks come off. Bishop to d3, Tal's bishop comes into play, and the endgame is completely winning for white despite being down 2 pawns. Why? Because black's king is trapped, Black's pawns are weak, and Tal's pieces are perfectly coordinated. This is technique at its finest. King to f8, rook to g3, Tal activates the rook on g3, attacking the f3 bishop. Bishop to c6, the bishop retreats. Pawn to b4, Tal starts pushing the queenside pawns. He's creating passed pawns while Black can't do anything. Pawn to a6, king to d2, pawn to h6, Larsson is just shuffling, trying to find a plan. But there is no plan. Pawn to c4, pawn to g5, king to c3, king to g7, Black is making luft for the king, but it doesn't matter. Pawn to b5, the pawns keep rolling. Pawn takes b5, pawn takes b5, bishop to d7, Larsson's pieces are passive. King to b4, pawn to f5, he tries to create threats with f5. Pawn to a4, pawn to f4, rook to g1, Tal calmly steps aside. King to f6, pawn to a5, pawn to g4, Larsson is pushing everything forward in desperation. Bishop to e4, beautiful. The bishop goes to e4, controlling key squares. Bishop to c8, king to c5, the white king marches up the board like a boss. Pawn to f3, the pawn races forward. King to b6, rook to d6 check, king to c7, Tal walks into the check and keeps pushing. Pawn to f2, rook to f1, the rook stops the pawn. Rook to d2, desperation. King takes c8, Tal grabs the bishop. King to e5, bishop takes b7, and Larsson resigns. The pawns are unstoppable. White wins. This is Mikhail Tal. He sacrificed his queen, went down 2 pawns, and still crushed one of the best players in the world. This game shows you that chess isn't just about material, it's about activity, coordination, and most importantly, fearlessness. If you want to play like a champion, you need to channel that Tal energy. Smash that like button if you loved this game, drop a comment telling me, is Tal the greatest attacker of all time? And subscribe if you want more legendary games like this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.